So it's definitely a privilege for me to be here to meet all the young minds. It takes me to the days where I was sitting there as a student, and it has been a very passionate moment always to meet young minds and share the learnings of life. I would say, and definitely the caption "inspiring future leaders" that itself is inspiring me. Right. So it's a wonderful moment to be here and. Yes, spend some time. I am Dr. Karthik. I take care of Eurofins Consumer Product Testing for South Asia, which covers India, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka. And as the Vice Chancellor of BGMEA was telling, I used to live here for a long time. I used to live here for almost 15 years up to the time of COVID. Then after COVID, I moved back. But still keep associating. And this is a very special timeline for me, to be frank, in this period, because last month I completed my overall 20 years of association with Bangladesh. So I came somewhere in September, October of 2005. I came with a small suitcase, but with a lot of dreams. And I grew my career here. And if based on those questions which has been shared to me, to answer what was my inspiration, I can very well say two major factors. One is a person and another one is a place. And the person I will brief in detail, but the person has been Dr. Abdul Kalam, who I was his student, and all of you would know who was his former President of India. And he again rose almost from the scratches of life, from the basics of life, where he had to sell newspapers for his basic survival, and he rose to the position of president. And second, as a place, I would always give the credits to Bangladesh. So thank you, Bangladesh, for making me who I am now today in its own way. Because when I came, it was just after my PhD, after my research stint. I worked in a project created by Dr. Abdul Kalam, that is called as CORE, that is Center of Research and Excellence. And that Center of Research and Excellence focused on doing something for people, because whatever we say, we can have lots and lots of discussion about tools and technology, and starting from internet, which was those days about 30 years back, was a great tool like AI today. Right, so those days, and if my boss asked to tell, the great tool of his early career was fax. Earlier there was no fax; they used telegrams, and then from telegram they moved to fax, and then moved to internet, and now we don't even think about internet as a great tool. It's basic. It's like our survival, and we have this. So we start from those, we look at the legacy of where we come from. And to begin with, I come from Coimbatore. Coimbatore was called as Manchester of South India, full of textile mills and textile industries, almost 8,000 spinning mills in the place where I used to live. And Tirupur was very adjacent, and many Bangladeshi entrepreneurs used to come to Tirupur to buy fabrics those days. And yarn still comes from around the belt of Coimbatore. Woven fabrics come from Salem, which is again used for many big brands being exported from Bangladesh to the world. So I come from Coimbatore, but gradually, due to many factors, the industry shifted from the business shifted from South India to Bangladesh. And thanks to the hard work of the entrepreneurs, I want to give a big hand to the entrepreneurs of Bangladesh, and for the vision which they have created in terms of how to take Bangladesh to the next level. Bangladesh was at a crossroad where what will happen after the quota in 1995 to 2005. So what will happen? So that was a turning point for Bangladesh, and then it moved forward and ever. So that's the growth journey of Bangladesh. And one thing I could relate, one thing I could assimilate for the growth of Bangladesh was the vision of the entrepreneurs. So many leaders, like all the speakers who spoke just before me, I could see they had set a vision, they had set a goal. And for students, my friends, believe me, that vision is one thing which definitely creates a benchmark where we want to reach. For whatever we want to do, unless otherwise we set up the vision of where we want to reach, we will not be able to reach anywhere. So first set up a goal, set up a vision. So this is what I am talking about. Set up a vision and goal. I interacted with him quite a lot in my earlier days when I used to be here. And so take up that momentum in terms of what we want to do. That is what we call it as purpose. So why we want to do what we want to do, right? And do it with passion. When we talk about passion, if you have heard about, we know many innovators. We know Thomas Alva Edison, we know Elon Musk, we know so many innovators. How many of us know William Kakwamba? William Kakwamba. How many of us know? Elon Musk, so many people know, right? Thomas Alva Edison and those kind of scientists and innovators, many people know. How many of us know William Kakwamba? Who is that? How many of you have heard the term the boy who harnessed the wind? Anybody? The boy who harnessed the wind. So there was a young boy at 14 years old in the village of Malawi in Africa. And they went through famine where they had nothing to eat and they had to depend on the world aid, the aids given by the different countries. But he saw an opportunity, he saw a vision. They had huge wind power, but they had no resource to build a windmill. So what he did, he fought with his father. He took his bicycle, cut it into parts, and then he made a windmill out of all the scraps he could gather at the age of 14 with no internet facility to learn how to make a windmill. Right? So that is what it is about. They say necessity is the mother of invention, right? So if we don't have anything at all, it's okay. It's okay. We need to use some resources which we have here. And how do we harness our capabilities, leverage our strengths, and work with the people? He had friends support who put his efforts, supported his efforts, believed in him, he believed in himself, and then he created a windmill through which he created a power and took out water from the ground, which helped the entire village. So when we have leaders like Elon Musk who creates everything when they are super rich, the number one rich person in the world, versus someone who creates an innovation which struggles, which helps the struggle of life when people has nothing, and someone creates such a simple thing. And that is the kind of growth story I have seen in Bangladesh also. Like Bangladesh, when we start from the timeline of 1971, the resources were scarce, but people have put that effort and take it forward, right? So that vision, that determination, that perseverance, that passion, okay? So those kind of things which will help us to move forward. Don't get stuck with I don't have anything. Don't get stuck with I don't know what to do, how to do. You will find a way.